Dennis, what are you getting from just popping in here? I know you're actually a member of the NLP Business Circle Club as well, but what do you find from just this short, sharp session?
What I've enjoyed the most is how concise and concentrated the shorter sessions are, so that we focus on one topic. We end up spending a little time discussing it or innovating it with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're out there applying it in our businesses and our lives. I think that's the way to go, compared to spending 7 to 14 days in a training.
Exactly.
And then I have to go back and make that work.
Yeah. And what this does is that if you have been NLP trained, which I know you have, if you are NLP trained, this is a way of just keeping your skills up, really quickly keeping your skills up. If you're looking for more development of your skills, we have the NLP Business Circle Club. I know quite a few remember there. And the NLP Business Circle Club, we meet on the second Tuesday and the fourth Thursday of each month. And we have 2 hours. So we tend to, sometimes we're actually in the breakout rooms for over an hour, which is great because people get a lot of time to practice. So today it's how expectations shape reality. Your brain is compelled to respond to anything you ask it. I always say to people, if you haven't written this down already, write this down. This is huge because we now know from neuroscience that your brain's compelled to respond to anything you ask it. This is what helps you. It's this phenomenon that happens that works with expectations. All behavior comes from a thought. All your actions are guided by your expected outcomes, whether we are conscious of this or not. In this session, we explore how our expectations and beliefs are shaping your career, being and path life in a profound way. It's really interesting. If you are of the mindset, and I don't expect people that are here to be of that mindset, but if you're of the mindset where you think things will never happen, everything's against you, you don't get any opportunities, you're right. Because even if an opportunity gets presented to you, you won't see it or you won't take it as an opportunity. So even not only expectations, but your mood can really affect what you're able to pay attention to and what you don't pay attention to. And learning how to reset this can have a remarkable effect in your life. So just learning how to reset your expectations. So performance and productivity, high expectations can drive improved performance and productivity. When you expect to achieve excellent results, you're more likely to put in necessary effort and concentrate in excelling your tasks and responsibilities. I come from 25 years of sales experience, and I was a top performer. I was expected to always hit my target and above, and I always hit my target and above. I expected myself to overachieve. Every target I got, I used to add another 3 to 4%. I didn't go crazy. I didn't double my target. I used to add 3 or 4% onto the expected target, and that's what I aimed for. Very often I went above that. So because I was expecting to do myself, I built a reputation where other people were expecting me to do well. And it's a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. I didn't want to let other people down. More than letting myself down, I didn't want to let other people down. So this is when we talk about sometimes dream high. You don't want to dream to a point that it's never going to happen and you'll never get there and you spend your life in disappointment, but actually stretching what you think you're able to do and maybe aiming a little bit higher than what you do before. And also, when you set a high expectation, you put in the work. People, I work very much, those of you who know me, I do a lot of leadership development. And when you're working with leaders, it's the leaders that are developing themselves, the leaders that you sometimes go to companies and you end up with leaders that are a bit of a problem and they're waiting for the company to provide them with everything. We don't get any training, we don't get this, we don't get that. And yet the people who are really getting on, they're getting their own training. They're finding places to go. The internet is filled. Look, even tonight, these sessions, they're free sessions. There's thousands of free sessions So the people that have the high expectations, they tend to put in the work and tend to put in the effort, which ends up getting the good results and the success. In interactions, relationships, expectations also influence how we interact with others. If you have positive expectations about your colleagues and teamwork, you're likely to engage in more productive and collaborative relationship, which can enhance overall workplace success. This is a horrible place to work. The people here are really tough to work with. Do you think people that are walking about doing that are having a successful time at work? No. Because we'll talk about the different effects that happen neurologically. They're actually only seeing people that are moaning and saying the same thing. But people who go, okay, I've got an opportunity here, I'm able to do this, this is fantastic. And we know from neuroscience, optimism, people who are optimistic tend to create more success in their life. It's to do with the chemicals that you're creating in your body. We've got the Golem effect. It's a psychological phenomenon whereby lower expectations of someone can lead to them performing worse. The Pygmalion effect describes the positive effect that other people's expectations have on a person's performance. So if someone really champions you and thinks you're going to do really well, your performance goes up. If someone actually doesn't expect you to do well, your performance can go down. What we think, act, and perceive and achieve can be positively influenced by other people's expectation of us. Who here coaches? Who's a coach? Okay, so you're nearly all coaches. Who's a leader? Who's a business leader? Okay, so even if you've got whether you formally coach or informally coach, if you're in business today, you're doing a lot of coaching. Never ever underestimate the effect of believing in someone. If someone believes in you, you're much more likely to try your hardest to do your absolute best than someone who's saying you'll never make anything of yourself. So sometimes you've got to be careful of who you listen to, because we can be in a society, or we can be with friends, or we could be with colleagues who don't want you to succeed. And that can drag you down, because sometimes we like to say in the status quo, we don't like to go away from the crowd. And I've seen this happen in sales. When you've got a low performing sales team, nearly everyone doesn't perform well in that sales team, because it's too uncomfortable for someone to step up, and it shows everyone else up. If someone starts doing well, if you've got a team and nobody's doing well, they can be in that lovely comfort zone of saying, see, it's impossible. What we're being asked to do is absolutely impossible. None of us can do it. None of us can achieve. If one person achieves, all of a sudden you've just proved it's not impossible. And that takes courage to do for people. So helping set up a really positive, a really encouraging atmosphere in work is huge. Expecting your team to do well. High expectations can act as powerful motivators. So setting goals, being very clear about what you're looking to achieve. In NLP, we talk about well-formed outcomes. SMART goals. Who knows SMART goals? SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Anyone can set a SMART goal. And you hear it in business all the time. Yes, I'll get my target. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do the next thing. And they're totally disconnected from what they're saying. And if someone's totally disconnected, they're highly unlikely to achieve what it is they're setting out to achieve. When we work with well-formed outcomes, we are taking that SMART goal and we're helping someone take this into their inside world, connect with their senses, connect with their heart, connect with their motivation, connect with their desire to do well. When that happens, you get a chemical change in the body. And we saw a beautiful example of that on the dual certification that Jackie and I did. Jackie, who's here tonight, we did a goal setting exercise, setting out a goal, and you actually saw Jackie's whole physiology change when she got really clear on that goal. So when that changes, that creates a chemical cocktail that will help you overcome challenges, because every goal that's worth having, you'll be challenged. Don't kid yourself that every single goal that's worth having, you'll be challenged. It's not if you get challenged, it's when you get challenged. And if you've got the internal motivation, the internal drive that comes from engaging your senses, then you're much more likely to be able to achieve something. When you have ambitious expectations for yourself, your work, you're more likely to set challenging goals and strive to achieve them. And people coming in business situations, you'll see the people coming in right at the beginning and you know they're going to be successful because they ask questions. They take care of their appearance. They dress almost like a leader long before they become a leader. They act like a leader. They're kind to other people. They share information. But they've got their expectations, they've got their ambition, they've got their goals that they're wanting to achieve. And setting that at a very early stage is much more likely to get it than just hoping something will happen. And the self-fulfilling prophecy, it's a psychological phenomenon where believing something will happen makes it more likely to occur. If you have positive expectations about your abilities and potential at work, you may act in ways that reinforce those beliefs, leading to improved performance. Who here wakes up and starts off the day with a bad day and then keeps telling us, oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad, oh, look, I've spilt coffee all over my computer, told you it was a bad day. And then you go and trip up, oh yeah, today's terrible. We are, at any day, we're exposed to over 11 million bits of information. We can choose what we focus on or not. And if you don't choose what you'll focus on, you'll just be chucked things to focus on. My father was incredible. My father lived to the age of 96, and I live in Scotland, the west coast of Scotland, and it's a dark part of the world to live in. He always said to me, he said, there's always sunshine. You'll always see sunshine every day. His whole thing was to look for the sunshine, look for the blue sky. And he got more blue sky than anyone I know, because that's what he looked for. And he actually taught me to do the same. Because there'll always be blue sky, there'll always be clouds. But if you just keep seeing the clouds, that's all. If you're expecting it to be rainy and dark and cold, that's me. If you expect it to be sunny and bright, when it's sunny and bright, you'll notice it. It's all about noticing. All these things are all happening, but setting the expectations helps you look and notice for something. And then you've got confidence and assertiveness. Having high expectations can boost your self-confidence and assertiveness. Confident individuals tend to take on more responsibilities, showcase their skills, take calculated risks, all of which can contribute to success in the workplace. Learning to be assertive, learning to be I believe it or not, I used to be the shyest, biggest blusher you could ever imagine. I was still blushing up to the age of about 50. I can still I'll still occasionally blush. Put me in a networking situation and I've really got to put a professional head on. I can't go in as the natural Fiona Campbell and walk in and introduce myself in networking. I've got to put my coaching hat on or my training hat on to walk into a networking event. Not to train people, just to get in that state, because I don't like it. I find it really difficult mixing with people I don't know, which some people say it's really strange when you train, but no, you find that for a lot of people that do training. This is it's a different confidence, and I know you can develop confidence. But people who are confident are not frightened about making mistakes. They're actually looking to make mistakes. And if there's a mistake, something happens, they can put their hand up and say, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not let's see, what can we learn from this? When someone's not confident, they tend to not be assertive because they're frightened of making mistakes. They're frightened of, what if I look silly? What if everything goes wrong? What if? So the what ifs are expectations. You're actually having expectations of things that haven't happened yet. But because the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination, these become so real that they stop a lot of people being able to build the assertiveness and the confidence. So even by helping, if you're coaching someone, helping them to become more assertive, teach them to say no. Teach them to be able to put their hand up. Teach them to develop their confidence in ways that will just, even if it's just a tiny bit, it can make a huge difference. Resilience and perseverance. Positive expectations can improve your resilience and ability to bounce back from setbacks. When faced with challenges, individuals with high expectations are more likely to persevere and find solutions rather than giving up. Who here is tenacious? Who knows the word tenacious? You'll keep going. No matter what happens, you'll keep going. That's why you're here at 7:20 on a Wednesday night. That's what makes the difference. And some of you are on the dual certification course, and we're working in the UK. It starts at 3 o'clock and goes till 9:30 at night, because we're working with quite a few people from the States. So we've been very flexible in how we can fit in training time for the States. When people are putting that time in, and if things don't happen, but it's not if things don't happen once, it's if they don't happen twice, 3, 4 times. The number of overnight successes that are out there, either in celebrity world and the business world, when you talk to these people, you'll find they're not an overnight success at all. They've been at this for years, but they don't give up. I keep saying I'll be an overnight success next year. And I've been saying that for over 40 years. I class myself as successful, but I keep this. I've got a tenacity. I keep going. I keep pushing. I don't want to, and it's in my nature. This is something that you can teach, but it's difficult to teach. What I'm always looking out for when I'm working with leaders to develop leaders, I'm looking for enthusiasm and I'm looking for curiosity. You cannot teach someone to be enthusiastic. You can inspire someone to be enthusiastic. You can motivate someone to be enthusiastic. You can be a role model that creates enthusiasm in someone else. But that enthusiasm has to come from within. It has to come from that person. And very often what happens in business is a lot of leaders their expectations are to develop certain people in their team, but actually they're trying to develop people that have got no interest at all in getting into leadership. They're looking at the wrong place. And that becomes an impossible task. But we've got to be careful. It's essential to strike a balance between with expectations. Unrealistically high expectations can lead to unnecessary pressure, stress, and potential burnout if not managed properly. Setting challenging yet attainable goals is vital for maintaining a healthy and sustainable work environment. It's okay to be under pressure when you're at the middle of a project, or if you're in the middle of an MBA or in the middle of some education thing you're going through, or if you're setting up your business, or if you're moving into a new job. It's okay to be totally engrossed in that, and that it's taking up all your time. But at some point, you have to have a goal that you can achieve. The people who get totally burnt out are the ones that are expecting this miracles. These people that are expecting to manifest millions just because there's a few billionaires on the internet. There's lots of people out there thinking you can just sit down and manifest billions, and they're getting burnt out, or they're creating all sorts of problems because they've actually set themselves a goal that is so unrealistic, that highly unlikely. I never say never, because some people do. Some people get incredible goals, but you want a goal to be challenging, but not so challenging that you'll never get there, because you'll end up running on empty for far too long. There must be some feedback, some reward. You must be able to get something back from putting in a lot of effort to get somewhere. Our expectations can also impact our perception of success. And this is where we move into, and there's another session we do on this, imposter syndrome. The number of people who go, I'll never be a leader, I'm not good enough, or I've just been promoted, but I'm going to be found out. Nobody gets promoted just for a whim. I know some people do, but in general, if someone gets promoted into a position, it's because they've got the skills and knowledge to do that position. Except in these organisations, used to be in the UK civil servants, people got promoted with their age. So they just kept getting promoted and pay rises and all sorts of things just because they got older. That's an old way of doing work. Doesn't work so much that way now. So if you don't think highly of yourself, no one's going to think highly of you. And we hear this a lot with people criticising themselves. Now, it's okay if you really have to criticize yourself, make sure you do it silently. You know, these people that criticize themselves in front of other people all the time? They're talking about they hate themselves, they'll not be this, they'll not be that. It's thinking about your personal branding. If you're running yourself down, nobody's going to help you become successful in life, because you're creating all these barriers by just voicing all your insecurities. We've all got insecurities, but you can work with that. My insecurities show me that I'm human. And I think that's important as well, to remember that we're human beings. Sometimes even when we achieve great results, if our expectations were overly ambitious, we might feel dissatisfied. This is when you get people who have this incredible out there goal and they get success, but that success is never good enough. It's never good enough. And they never become, they're never able to settle. They're never able to be satisfied. So you've really got to sort of ask yourself, what are my expectations? Where do I want to be? How will I know when I get there? How will I be told? How will I know I'll get there? And what is it? What will it look, sound, and feel like? And is that where I really want to be? Because very often our expectations, a lot of people forget what you have to give up to get certain success. A lot of the classical musicians, or any type of musician, don't know if anyone spend any time in a professional musician. My goodness, they never stop rehearsing. Never. Sports people, top sports people, never. All the top sports people say, we don't have a family. Like, the family supports us, but we have nothing for the family. When they're at the height of their career, they've got nothing for the family because it's totally career. So again, it's when you're setting your expectations, what is it you want to achieve? And do you know about the halo? Who knows about the halo and horn effect? Okay, the halo effect is, and this is where we've got to, this brings us into the area of unconscious bias a little bit. The halo effect is, if you like someone, you will only see the good in them, because that's what you're expecting to see. So you won't see them behaving badly. You won't hear them being sharp. You won't hear that. They'll be doing it because every human being has got good and bad behavior, or appropriate and inappropriate behavior, however you want to class it. And then we've got the horn effect, which is the opposite. It means that if you don't like someone, they'll keep confirming. Their behavior will keep confirming the reason you don't like them, because your brain will filter that information based on what, and you'll only see things that don't fit, things that are doing bad. And again, leaders have to be very careful of this. They've got to learn to be objective and learn to be able to step away, because this is the way the brain functions. And the more you can learn how your brain works, the easier it is to work with this. Managing our expectations realistically and celebrating incremental success is crucial for maintaining a positive outlook and long-term success at work. There's a book here, The Expectation Effect, by Dave Robson. I think I've got a slide. I've got the slide's got the old cover on this. Oh, actually, this particular case study comes from that book. A study at Harvard University in 2007 found when a group of hotel cleaners were told the amount of energy they exerted over a week by vacuuming floors, changing beds, or moving furniture easily hit the target for physical exercise recommended for good health that people strive for in the gym. 1 month later, the researchers found the fitness levels of the cleaner had noticeably improved with significant changes in weight and blood pressure. The magic about this was the change in their expectations and the belief that brought measurable physiological change without any change in their lifestyle. That's the Harvard effect there, but let me just give you this book. There's the book there, The Expectation Effect. And what I love about this book is it's got lots and lots of research at the back that really shows how your brain is working. And there's a research in there about teachers. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if they'd be allowed to do it now, but it was teachers in a school were told that the special needs teacher was unavailable, and they had to take a group of children for that term that had all special needs. And all these children's, the children weren't told about this. The children's performance reduced dramatically. And then the same group of children, the teachers were told the next term that they had been chosen. They were really lucky. They had these exceptionally gifted children. And these were the children they were going to work with. And it was the same group of children, and the children's performance shot up because the teachers absolutely believed in them. So that's this book, The Expectation Effect. It's got loads of scientific examples and evidence of that. So it's very worth getting. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you in breakout rooms for maybe 10 minutes tonight and just go in and maybe talk a little bit. Let's see, I've got a slide here with some suggestions. What's your expectations around your career success? What are those expectations for you? Explore whose expectations you're living by. Lots of people are living by expectations for other people. Maybe you're in your 40s and 50s and you're still living to your parents' expectation they had of you as a child. When did you create these expectations? Are they still appropriate from where you are now? Is it relevant for your life now? You can take a wee photograph of that one if you want, because these are always nice questions to ask when you're exploring expectations. Okay, so I'm going to open all the rooms and we'll have you back in here. Let me see, just come out of sharing. We'll come back at 22, just to be 5 minutes at the end. Okay, so I'll just put the recording on pause. Recording on. Okay, so how was that? Let's get feedback just from 2 people, because we've just got a couple of minutes. I just want to let you know about the NLP Business Circle Club. So who got something with that? Did you get anything that you've learned, anything you're taking away, or anything you'd like to share with the group?
We all had 3 things. I've got a new job to go to. Tom's just had a revamp of his website. It's now a really good move. And Anne's focusing in more onto specifics in her industry. Mm-hmm. So it was for us today, as all of us, it's been quite a good session.
Just really focusing your expectations.
That's right. Yeah. And even to scope it in terms of, am I too big? Am I too small? Yeah. What have you that way. So it was good.
And it's extra. The expectations is just that little bit extra on top of setting goals. It's taking you to the next level of setting goals. The goals, you've got the expectation, then you've got the goals, and then you've got the expectation again. I like to layer it that way. Okay. Graziana, have you?
In the group, in our group, the topic has been mainly the reframe what we are looking for to do next.
Yep.
And the expectation is a big part of it.
Yeah. So it's reframing. So taking it from one way, looking at it from a different perspective, reframe how you're looking at it.
Reframe what to do next with our professional life.
Took the opportunity to relate something that Dennis Waitley often says about retiring. He says we misspell it. It should be retried. You have another chance to try again.
Yeah,
that's what retirement should be.
And that's lovely, because you're absolutely right. The number of people that fall into depression or die when they retire because all their expectation disappears. Their identity disappears, especially if their identity is connected with their work. That's why I'm never going to retire. I just keep trying. I don't have to retry. Okie dokie. So let me just share, those of you who are NLP trained or have attended an NLP training, we've got the NLP Business Circle Club, and we meet twice a month. It's $97 a month. But if you use that code, I'll just share the link in the chat. If you use that coupon code, you get 30% off every month. Now, in the club itself, I'll just let you share that again to see it. So I've sent you the link, and it's membership 30, and that gives you 37. So it brings it down to 60-something a month. As well as meeting for two-hour masterclasses a month, all our members have access to all the archives. And those of you who are on the NLP NLP dual certification, you've got 3 months complimentary into this club. But the archives are there, all the videos, all the audio recordings, and all the workbooks from December 2020. So it's a massive archive for people that are serious about developing the NLP for business. There's also, we have the VIP Community Hub that's starting to get a little bit of traction. That's your own centre. It's an own area. You can leave messages, you can join the chat, you can join the different videos that are on in there and just connect to people. Okie dokie. So we've gone 1 minute past. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I can't remember what next week is, but we'll come up with something and I'll send it out to you in plenty of time. Okay, so thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming and joining us, and I hope you're taking something away. And thank you for all the comments. That was great. There's some really nice comments in the chat. Okay, so take care and see you soon, and set your expectations high. Take care.